My name's Dave Spencer, the Sergeant with the Vacaville Police Department. I currently supervise the K-9 unit for the Vacaville Police Department. Today we're here at the first annual Top Dog K-9 trial. The K-9 trial is comprised of 5 sections. Narcotics detection was handled yesterday, and what we got going on today is obstacles, obedience, a search phase, and a protection phase. We have 24 K-9 teams from all over Northern California that have come to Vacaville today to participate in this. What we usually have at these trials are just teams from Northern California. I think as far south today we have from Alameda PD, as far as Chico PD. There's 2 teams from Chico PD that is here. And many of these teams come from the Sacramento region. This is the first time that the Vacaville Police Department has hosted this event. As you may know or may remember, Frank Pirro, who is one of our K-9 teams, participated in these trials last year and came out as the 2015 Top Dog winner. He took the grand trophy through all the series of trials. This year, Frank came to me as a supervisor and said he wanted to host a K-9 trial. So the administration at the police department gave him the blessing, and here we are today. He's done a great job. It's a great show from the public, and it's just good to see the public out here seeing what these teams can do. I was talking to some of the K-9 teams, and they're saying that this is the best turnout they've seen. And some of these teams have participated in 25, 30 of these events over the years, and they're like, this is one of the biggest turnouts they've seen public-wise, and they're very impressed. The other teams are very impressed with our turnout with our public. What we got going on behind us right now is the obstacle part of the trial. The K-9 teams will go through the different phases. They'll get points for their participation in it, doing the portion of the trial correctly, having control of their K-9 teams, and at the end of the day, the points are tallied up. And in each of the phases, there's a 1 through 5, first place through 5th place, and they'll get trophies for the first 5 places. And then there is for today, there'll be a Top Dog total champion, and so they'll be awarded this afternoon over at the Vacapena gym. We have a narcotics phase they had that phase yesterday. It was handled at Vacapena School. In that phase, they have an indoor search for different narcotics, and then they have an outdoor search, which is comprised of some vehicles that are there. The handlers usually have anywhere between 3 to 4 minutes. They let their partners go inside the room or out on the exterior, and when the dog alerts, the handler will call the alert. And that was done yesterday, and I believe the K-9 team from Truckee Police Department was the ultimate winner in that. Today we'll see, like I said, we're having the obedience. It's the control of the dog to be able to hit each obstacle, get over it, and move on to the next one. From there, they go into a obedience phase, just to show basic obedience that you would see on the street, the officer marching down the street with the dog at its side. Later this afternoon, they'll have the protection phase. The dog will be deployed from a police car and have to undergo some stress. Guys jumping around in bite suits, and whatever the scenario brings up, and they've got to make sure that their partner is directed towards the right team, bites the right guy, recalls, maybe send him to another person. Again, we're looking for the control of the dog. And then we had the search phase. And search phase was also done this morning, and we had a decoy that was hidden underground in a grate, and the teams are given 3 minutes to release their K-9, and the dog has to find an alert on the person that was hidden underground, and the alert may consist of a bark or something where the officer knows that the bad guy is there, and then they'll call the alert, and it's based on time. It takes a lot of training for these teams to get to this point, to have the control, the ability to compete in all 5 phases. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of training, and a lot of time on the handler's part. These teams come together with young dogs, and they train ultimately to get to the point where they can be out here and be successful. Many of these teams have been together for a while on the street, maybe up to a year. We do have a couple very young teams that are here today, but it's just the training. It just goes into the training and really the dedication of these handlers to spend the time to get these dogs to do a lot of these things. These scenarios that we put on, we try to keep them as realistic as possible to everyday events that they may encounter on the street. The obstacles behind us right now may mirror jumping a fence, chasing a bad guy, going over items, having to walk across, a small bridge to get across a creek or something. We try to keep it as realistic as possible. Later on in some of the protection phases, we try to keep the situation like an officer may see on the street. We don't want to get too outlandish. We just want to keep it very simple and show the control of the dog. And that's the goal, is to show the control of the dog and what these teams can do. The handler and the partner, we call them partners. We don't like to call them dogs because they are our partners. Our lives depend on them sometimes. I spent almost 10 years working a police dog myself, so I know that bond that these handlers have with their partners. Working a police dog is a lot of fun. It's very rewarding. There's a lot of good things that come from it. There's a lot of rewarding when you show up and a guy has run from an officer, and you show up and the officer's like, hey, that guy ran that way, and you go find him. And it really shows the value of these K-9 teams, to the city and to the police department. Keeps the public safe, keeps the officer safe. Sometimes just having the officer or the K-9 on scene barking in a car can quell some pretty stressful situations. But it is a team. They spend 40 hours a week together in a car. They depend on each other, and having a dog for a partner, there's nothing better. He doesn't argue with you. The psychological effects that these dogs have, just being on scene, the bark. Again, our job is not to go out and release a dog on everybody. Our job is to make sure that everybody's safe. Many times, if we have an incident where people are fired up, there's something stressful going on in their life. Many times, the dog just showing up, being on scene, maybe barking or the stay away K-9 on the side of the car is enough to calm the situation down, and people respect the dog. It's nice that people do respect these K-9 teams, and it's nice to have them as not only as a police officer, as a supervisor. It's good watching them work. These are a great public relations tool. We get our teams go out to the schools. They interact with children. Many times the teams are once a week are going out to schools or events and interacting with the public. Kids are coming up and petting the dogs, and we have very social dogs. And it's nice to go out to these events and watch them interact with kids. I just like to thank the public for showing up today. This is a great event. It's nice to see the support that not only the K-9 teams but the police department gets and the city gets from their public. And this is a great showing, and I appreciate people showing up today. People love dogs. The public loves dogs. I mean, they're man's best friend.